Today we're talking camera cages. Do you need them? Do you don't need them? Do you like them? Do you love them? What's your relationship like with camera cages? If you shoot on the Sony FX3 or the FX30 and you're in the market to pick up a new camera cage for yourself, but you don't want to spend a massive fortune, maybe this camera cage from Neewer might be just the right camera cage for you. It's half the price and it's twice as nice. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mike Mandigo. This is Passion Video. Thanks for stopping by. So I've owned my Sony FX3 for just a little over 2 months now. And for the most part, I didn't think that I needed to pick up a camera cage for it because it had multiple quarter 20 mounts all over the body. But just recently I rigged out my camera cage and I was feeling that it was like lacking a handle on the left side. So it felt like I was limited in where I could hold on to the camera without it feeling like it was going to tip and stuff. So that led me to go look on Amazon. And when I checked on Amazon, normally I would look for small rig or tilted cages because that's what I've bought in the past for my S5 2X camera and my GH5. Those were the type of cages I bought in the past. Well, I seen this ad for a Neewer cage, the company called Neewer, N-E-E-W-E-R. They're making a cage for the Sony FX3/FX30. And this cage had one feature that was different from the other camera companies that were offering cages on the Amazon site. That feature was the ability to take this camera cage from a half a cage or to have it a full cage, just by removing one little screw in the bottom. I'm not too sure how much I'm really going to use this feature, but I do like the ability to have it as a half cage or a full cage. And one other cool thing was that this camera cage was coming in at half the price of the competitors. So for a small rig and for Tilta, they're both coming in at approximately 130 to 150 Canadian. And I was able to pick up this Neewer cage for around $75, so half the price. Because it was half the price, I decided to pick up 2 cages, one for my A camera and one for my B camera. Let me know in the comments if you like using a camera cage on your camera. Do you like the flexibility that the camera cage offers? Do you like the protection that the camera cage offers? Or do you think that it's a waste of money? Let's talk about it down in the comments below. Typically in the past, I would just buy Tilta or small rig cages for my cameras, and they seem to do a good job and work fine. What made me want to buy this camera, like I said, was the new bonus feature that they added to offer it to make it into a half cage or a full cage. Out of the box, you're going to get the aluminum cage, which is 161 grams machined aluminum. It's lightweight and it's going to be durable, and it should last you a lifetime, as long as it doesn't get ran over by a vehicle or something like that. You're going to get an HDMI clamp that comes with it and a removable NATO rail. One thing to note is that the holes on the NATO rail are 27 millimeters apart compared to the typical 18 millimeter threading holes. It's one thing to be cautious of if you're looking to pick up new pieces or if you have some existing pieces already. On the bottom, it's got an Arca Swiss mount. You can use this to mount it onto a tripod or onto a gimbal like the DJI RS3 or the RS4. To mount this camera cage onto your Sony FX3 or your FX30, there's 3 screws, 2 on the sides and 1 on the bottom. This is going to give you a secure, it's going to secure the camera to the cage nicely, and you're not going to have any movement. One of the problems I was having with my FX3 was there's only one hole on the bottom, the quarter 20 hole on the bottom. And when I would put that onto a tripod plate, sometimes, no matter how tight I would get the tripod base, sometimes I could bump the camera and it could get knocked out of alignment, which is kind of frustrating after you take the time to dial in all the shots and everything. And then you just make a small little mistake and you end up setting yourself back some time because you have to go readjust it and everything. Let me know in the comments if that's ever happened to you before. Having the camera cage inside of this cage and secured by those 3 spots is going to stop it from moving. And then on the bottom of the camera cage, there's multiple holes so that you can have 2 two bolts in place that's going to stop your camera from moving when you have it locked onto a tripod. There's a number of 1/4 20 and 3/8 threaded holes throughout the cage. You're able to adapt a number of accessories or secure your camera in place. So now that I've kind of touched on the pros, let's cover some of the cons that there is for this camera cage. I think there's really only two, and that's if I'm being picky. The first con is the holes on top of the NATO rail, which I mentioned just a little bit previously. And that's not really a con for me because I don't really have those accessories. I'm not using those accessories yet. So as of right now, that's not a con to me. The second con that I found, which was just me being a little bit picky, is there's one part of the camera cage that's not shaped the greatest to the form of the camera. I thought that could have been shaved down a little bit more to shape to fit the shape of the camera. Other than that, it doesn't really affect the quality or the durability or the usage of the camera cage. So like I said, that's just me being picky. So right now I'm sitting in my gear cage, or my space where I keep my gear. I was going through the edit and I realized that I forgot to talk about a few things. So this is the handle that I use, that I was putting onto my FX3. It has two 1/4 20 mounts, but along the side here of this cage, there's another little part here that has a NATO rail. So you could put a NATO rail handle on it as well. And then along this part right here, there's a cold shoe mount. I forgot to mention that. So you could put a microphone, or you could put any other accessory that has a cold shoe or a hot shoe. Along the top of the cage, there's two holes that you can put a camera strap in, so you could hang it from a camera strap. On the side that's removable, there's another two straps, so you could put a side strap to hold onto the cage if that's what you prefer as well. And then there's a number of airy locating holes, as well as there's 1/4 20 locating holes as well, if you have accessories that use those, like articulating arms and such, clamps and whatever. So those were some of the things that I forgot to mention. And as well, when I was taking the cage apart and putting it back together, if you didn't notice in the beginning B-roll sequence, it was pretty sturdy. It didn't seem like it was going to break. It was very sturdy and very, very firm, I guess you could say. All right, back to the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about using a camera cage on your camera. Are you the type of person that likes to rig out your camera every time you get it because you like how it looks and you like the flexibility and the functionality that you get? Or are you just a quick person that likes to run and gun and keep it simple and you're able to capture great shots like that? Let's talk about that down in the comments. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this video here talking about this camera cage. I don't really think there's too much more that I could really go on about for this basic camera cage, but I did want to share this cool feature with you because maybe you might be in the market for picking yourself up a camera cage for your FX3 or your FX30. And if you are, you might consider picking up a camera cage from Neewer. All right, thanks for checking out this video, and I will see you in the next one.